Hi friends, Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and Elwing and I are here today to talk to you about some really great books that we think you might like. Now this week is Thanksgiving, and it's the time of year where we especially are thinking of things that we're grateful for, that we're thankful for, and I know some of the first things that we think about when we think about things that we're thankful for are our family, our friends, our health, things like that. But what about books? You can be thankful for books too, can't you? I think so too, Elwing. And there are so many books to be thankful for. So today I want to talk about some of my favorite books that I'm most thankful for and the reasons why. So there are so many different reasons, right, to be thankful for a book. And for every person, there's probably a different reason. So I'm going to break it down into three different thankfulness sections, as it were, to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to talk about a book that I'm thankful for because it has taken me on a journey, an exciting journey that I may have never been on before. A book that I'm thankful for because it's given me comfort or made me feel better when I'm sad or upset. And lastly, just a book that I'm thankful for because it has just brought me so much happiness. Because happiness is such an important thing, especially with books. So, the very first book I want to talk about is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Hobbit. I first read this book when I was in 5th grade, and it was one of my first fantasy books that I've ever read, which is a big deal for me because that's one of my favorite genres. So this book has inspired an entire lifetime of reading a specific genre, and this is the book that made me fall in love with it. So this is the book that I want to talk about has taken me on a journey. Because if you know anything about The Hobbit, which is basically this book is entirely about a journey, about this little hobbit who goes on a journey with this wizard and all these dwarves, and it's not only just about the adventure that he's on, but also how he finds himself and how he discovers the hero that lies within him that he would have maybe never known before that. And this book made me realize that books can take you to all kinds of different places. Isn't that exciting? Books can take you to the moon, they can take you to the bottom of the ocean, they can take you to countries that you've never been to before or may never seen, or they can take you to places like Middle Earth, a place that isn't real, but it's just so wonderful to go to. So if you're looking for a book and you haven't read this yet, if you're looking for a book that's just really fun and adventurous, and you're stuck at home because of quarantine and you can't go out and do the things you're used to doing, this book will take you on such an adventure, such a journey, and you just shouldn't miss it. It's a fantastic book, and that is The Hobbit. So next, I want to talk about a book that is a comfort to me every time I read it, and this is The Tale of Despereaux. The Tale of Despereaux. This book is by Kate DiCamillo. She has written just so many books that are absolutely fantastic, but this one is my favorite. It's the first one I ever read by her, and every time I read it, I cry. That might not sound like a comforting thing, but it is. Sometimes it just feels good to let out your emotions, right? But I don't cry because of sadness. I cry because this book is just one of the most beautiful books I have ever read in my entire life. It's about a little mouse named Despereaux who is very different. He's different from his mom and dad and his brother and sister. He's different from all the other mice because he can read. And he reads these stories, especially about knights and princesses, and he wants to become a knight. And it's just such a beautiful book, but it's also about stories and about how stories can be light in darkness. No matter what kind of darkness, it could be like a physical darkness or a darkness if you're sad or anxious about something, stories can help with that. And this book, especially for me, has always been a big light. And The Tale of Despereaux is its name. I highly recommend it. It's an absolutely wonderful book. And lastly, talk about a book that makes me happy. And I'm thankful for this book because of how happy it makes me. And this is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim. And this is about a little mouse who has children, and one of whom, which is very sick, and she needs to be able to get him medicine to get better because they have to go on a journey, because the season is changing and they live in this field and they have to leave their house because of the plow that's coming, and it's just not safe to stay there. But they can't leave right now because of her son, Timothy, very sick. So she goes to visit the mysterious Rats of Nim, who are these wise, strong creatures who take it upon themselves to help her. And this book, I read it like at least once every few years because I just love it so much. And the reason it makes me so happy is because when I was in 4th grade, my teacher read us this book in class, and all these years later, I can still remember the feeling of being so excited to hear more and more about this book. Every day she would read a couple chapters, and I looked forward to that with all my heart because it was just such an exciting thing to sit there and have a story read to you, and I could not wait to hear what happened next. And that feeling has stayed with me past all these years, and this book just makes me so happy. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. It's a great story. And that is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope these books look really interesting. And this week, take some time to think about some books that mean a lot to you, books that you're thankful for, and think of some reasons why. And next time you come into the library, then you can let me know what books you think are fantastic, which ones you're thankful for. You might have to call, though, because we have gone back to just curbside service only. So if you like these books, any of these books, do feel free to go on the website or give us a call and put them on hold, and you can pick them up with our curbside service. Thank you so much, friends. Have a wonderful week and happy Thanksgiving.